You are not going to need any yoga tools for class this evening. And we are going to start in a seated position, starting with some body awareness and some breathing. So find yourself in a comfortable position. Maybe comfortable to you is sitting in easy pose, Sukhasana. But if you are sitting in Sukhasana, I want you to notice if you just automatically cross your legs the way you normally do. And if that's the case, let's reverse, which is going to make it even not easy pose. Even not easier, because easy pose is not easy. If it's more comfortable to you, you can sit with your legs apart, knees slightly bent. You can have them out nice straight in front of you, whatever's most comfortable for you. If you need to get a, raise your hips some on a pillow or bolster, that works as well. So, sitting nice and tall, you can have a gentle gaze or you can close your eyes. Hands can be either palms down or palms up, depends on whether you need to go inward a little bit or if you're open to receiving. Bring your attention to all the points of contact your body has with your mat and whatever surface you're sitting on. Feeling your sits bones. And now let's take a big inhale through the nose and bring those shoulders up to those ears and squeeze really tight. And then as you exhale, just kind of let them drop down. And then now beginning to inhale and exhale through the nose. As you inhale, let that belly fill up with air like a balloon, expand. As you exhale, let that belly contract, come back in. Inhale deeply, belly expands. Exhale completely, belly contracts. If you struggle with breathing this way, you can always bring your hands to the belly, and as you inhale, try to press those hands away from you. And as you exhale, let the hands come back. And again, inhale, belly fills up with air, expands. Exhale, belly contracts. Nice, great, big, deep inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly contracts. Again, inhale. And exhale. One more, big inhale. And exhale. Letting the hands come back down to the legs. If you had them on your belly, you can gently keep your eyes closed or you can open them with a soft gaze forward. Let's do some nice little neck rolls here this afternoon, evening. Nice and slow and easy here. Last rotation, let's come up to the top, find just a moment of stillness, and then reverse directions with those neck rolls. Last rotations, you come to the top, find a bit of stillness, and then take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, drop that right ear to the right shoulder. And then I want you to take that right hand and gently take those fingers on top of the ear of the left, on the left ear. And you're just letting your hand rest there. You're not pulling down, just adding a little bit of weight. And then inhale back up to neutral. Exhale, drop that left ear to the left shoulder, taking that left hand to the top of the right ear. And you're just placing your hand on top of the head, continuing to sit nice and tall. Inhale back up to neutral. Exhale, release. Now, taking those hands out to the side, I want you to kind of just have your fingertips onto your mat. Sit nice and tall. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, I want you to twist over to the right and let those fingertips run along the mat. Sitting nice and tall, looking over that right shoulder. Just a breath. Inhale back to the center, and then exhale, let those fingers just kind of flow over to the left. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, release. Place those palms on your mat. Now press that right palm firmly into the mat. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, lean over to the right, bending that right elbow, making sure the left hip stays on your mat. You're not lifting that left hip. Keep it firmly on the mat. Get a big side body stretch on the left. Inhale, back up. Exhale, left hand down, placing that palm firmly on the mat. Inhale, that right arm up. Exhale, lean over to the left. Bend that left elbow, keeping that right hip on your mat. Big side body stretch to the right. Inhale, back up. Exhale, release. Now, I want you to bring those feet out in front of you. And I want the knees bent. And I want you to grasp that right thigh. Now, make sure you're sitting nice and tall, and I want you to lean back. I want you to just barely lift that right leg up. And I want you to point and flex and point and flex. Sitting nice and tall. And then take a big inhale, and again, still sitting tall. Exhale, run your hands down the leg as far as you can. And if as far as you can is just right under the knees, that's fine. Maybe you can get to the calves, maybe you can get to the ankles, or maybe you just want to reach the toe. If you can grab your toe, that's fine. Just make sure you're not leaning back on your sacrum. You're still sitting on the sits bones, wherever you are. And hold here, a couple of breaths. And now you've got options here. You can take your right hand to the inside of the thigh and bring it out to the right. You can take those first two fingers on the big toe, bring it out to the right, and breathe. Inhale back to the center, straighten that left leg. Now take that left hand, if you want to, across on the outside of that leg. Plant the right hand and draw that leg across the body, across the midline, and breathe. Inhale back and exhale, release. And now let's do the other leg. So gently bend that right knee, grasp behind the left thigh, and just gently lift that leg up just a few inches up off the mat, and point and flex, and point and flex. And then take a big inhale, and then exhale, run the hands up the leg. Again, you're going to stay nice and tall. You're not going to lean back. And if you go too far, you may get a cramp in that quadriceps. So make sure you don't go too far. You may not go as far on one side as you did on the other. Grab the calf, ankle. You can use the big toe. Wherever you are is perfectly fine. Take a big inhale. Exhale that leg out to the left. Again, make sure you're sitting tall on those sits bones. You don't want to be leaning back on that sacrum. Inhale back to the center, and then take the right hand to the outside of that left leg, left hand down, straighten that right leg, and draw that left leg across the body, and breathe. Inhale back to the center, and exhale, release. Now, let's roll on over to our hands and knees and get into a tabletop position. If you need to, make sure to get a pillow, a towel, a blanket, something under those knees if you need to. Ooh, I'm slightly on a hill here. All right, nice, strong tabletop position. Shoulders are over your wrists, and the hips are over the knees. Gaze is just gently looking down at your mat. Let's start with some cat-cow here. Inhale, gently lift the chin up, drop the belly, roll the shoulders back for cow. Exhale, tuck the chin, arch the back, press the floor away from you for cat. Now begin to inhale, cat and cow with your breath, not mine. Inhale, cow, head up, tail up, belly drops. Exhale, cat, tuck the chin, arch that spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale back to your tabletop position. Now bring those hands up towards the top of your mat. We're going to move into downward facing dog, so let's curl those toes. Make sure the fingers are nice and splayed apart wide. And let's press the hips up to the ceiling, the sky, wherever. Drop the head between the arms. Downward facing dog. Keep pressing the hips up to the ceiling and the heels towards the floor. Take a couple of breaths here. You can begin to pedal your feet, walking your dog. You can wiggle waggle your hips. Do what feels good to you. Now let's drop those shoulders away from the ears. Take a big inhale, and then exhale, roll out to plank. Make sure you've got a nice tight plank. Shoulders are over your wrists. And take a breath. On your next exhale, shift the hips back up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right leg up to the sky. As you exhale, I want you to bring that right leg to the outside of that right hand so that your hands are on the inside here. If you need to, you can drop that back knee. Inhale that right arm up and open and twist. A couple of breaths here. If it's available to you, you can bring that arm all the way back around, opening that shoulder a little more. Inhale the arm back up. Exhale, hand down. Now shift the hips back, straighten that right leg. Take a breath. On your next exhale, bend that right knee back to your lunge. Step back to plank. Take a breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Head between the arms. Hips to the ceiling or the sky, heels towards the floor or the ground. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left leg to the outside of that left hand. Nice tall lunge here. You can drop that back knee if you need to. Inhale that left arm up and open and twist. And breathe. If you'd like to, you can drop that arm behind you, opening that shoulder a little more. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands down. Take a big inhale. Exhale, shift the hips back, straighten that left leg. Take a breath. Exhale, bend that left knee. Step back to plank. Take a breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step that right foot in between the hands. Now, you've got a couple of options here. You can walk up your knee. You can sweep the arms, come all the way up. High lunge. Take a big inhale. Exhale, sink in, bend that right knee. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. And breathe. Keep that back leg nice and straight for now. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, then bend that back knee. Go as far as you can without touching the ground. And breathe. For 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands down. And then lift up with that left leg. Now, you can keep those hands on the floor if you can, if it's available to you. You can lift the arms out to the side. Make sure you keep this left hip rocked. Warrior 3. You can play here, arms behind you, arms in front, arms out beside. Or you can keep your hands on the floor. Inhale, step back, all the way up. Exhale, bend that right knee again. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, hands down. Step back, plank. Take a breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a breath. Inhale, lift that left leg up to the sky, to the ceiling. Exhale, step that left foot in between the hands. And again, you've got options. You can walk up that leg. You can sweep the arms, come all the way up. Exhale, high lunge. Back leg is straight. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Keep your balance here. Take a big inhale. Exhale, bend that back knee. Go as low as you can without touching the ground and hold. For 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, back up. And exhale, hands to the floor. Keeping that back leg up. You can gently lift that back leg. Keep dropping that right hip. You can keep those hands on the floor. You can bring them behind you, out to the side. You can bring them forward, warrior 3. You can play here. And breathe. For 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, step back, arms up. Exhale, bend that left knee, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Take a breath. On your next exhale, hands down. Step back to plank. Shift the hips up, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Drop to your knees. Curl your toes. Walk your way up and sit back towards your heels, stretching those feet just a little bit. breaths here. Slowly bring yourself back to tabletop position and press up, downward facing dog. Now, walk those feet to the outer edge of your mat or just outside your shoulders if you're not on a mat. Take your right hand, and I want you to reach your right hand wherever you can. Maybe that's the thigh, maybe that's the calf, maybe that's the ankle, or maybe that's the middle of the mat. Wherever you can, gently looking underneath that left armpit. And breathe. Inhale, right hand back out. Now exhale that left hand wherever you can reach. Maybe that's the thigh, maybe that's the calf, maybe that's the ankle, maybe that's the center of the mat. Wherever you can, gently looking under the right armpit. And breathe. Inhale, hands back out. Now keep those feet along the edge of the mat and slowly walk up to your hands. So you're in a forward fold. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, drop the hips down into a deep squat. Now, you want to be able to keep those heels on the floor in your deep squat. So if you cannot keep your heels on the floor, you've got several options. You can tuck a blanket, a pillow, or part of your mat underneath your heels to lift them up. Or you can even come up out of your squat a little bit if you need to, whatever you can. If it's available to you, bring the elbows right on the insides of the knees, pressing those knees out, palm to palm pressing. Take a few breaths here. Soften in, relax. With every exhale, I want you to relax the thighs, relax the buttocks, reach the crown of the head to the ceiling. You'll notice yourself sinking deeper into your squat. Now let's bring that left hand to the floor. Inhale, reach that right hand up and open, twist to the right. Exhale, right hand down to the floor, to the mat. Inhale, left arm up and open and twist. Exhale, hands down. Both hands to the mat. Take a big inhale. Exhale, straighten those legs. Take a couple of breaths. Exhale, drop the hips back down into your squat. Now you've got a couple of options here. You know I like to give options. You can place your hands behind your knees on your thighs, or if it's available, reach those arms up, gazes forward. Take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, press yourself all the way up. Exhale, hands down to the side, and shake it out. Nice. Now, we're going to move into Warrior Two. So, I want you to step to where your feet into the, little caterpillar. Go on. There we go. Get those feet out nice and wide. I want you to take that left foot, and I want the left foot parallel to the short edge of your mat. Now, your hips should be facing forward. So put your hands along the outside edge of your hips and let your fingertips face forward. They should be even, which means your hips are face forward and squared. Now I want you to lift the toes on that right foot And I want you to rotate just the toes and ankles and point those toes towards the short edge of the mat. Now, I want you to check in here. Did your hip twist a little bit? If so, your fingers are not going to be even, and you'll feel a slight wrenching in your knee. If that happens, bring those feet back together. And then I want you to scoot that right foot forward, maybe an inch, maybe not even that far. Hands back on these hips, lift the toes, then rotate those toes, and again, maybe the hips stayed squared. And if they still didn't, if they twisted slightly, you may need to go up just a little further. Now, let's inhale those arms out to the side. As you exhale, drop the shoulders. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, bend that right knee. And I want you to look. I want you to make sure that you've got that knee rotated out so that you can see that big toe. Now gaze over those right fingertips. I want you to check in here. Does this feel good? If you want a longer stance, that's fine. Straighten that leg. Take a big inhale. And then exhale. Bend that knee a little more. Warrior two. And breathe. Weight should be evenly distributed on both of those feet. You're not leaning forward. You're standing nice and tall. Strong warrior. Imagine you have got a pole right down here in the center of your body, and it is concreted into the ground. So you cannot move. And breathe. On your next inhale, flip that right palm up. We're moving to extended side angle. So bend that forearm, drop that forearm to that right knee. Inhale that left arm up overhead. Your thumb is reaching towards the sky. Your pinky finger and your pinky toe should be furthest away from you. Make sure you drop that back hip. If it's available to you, you can drop that hand down. You can bind if you have a binding practice. Whichever variation you need. Inhale back out to warrior two. Couple of breaths. Rotate that knee out. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Now let's turn those right toes back in and turn the right heel out so that that right foot is parallel to that short edge of the mat. Now, if you had to move your feet, they should still be staggered a little bit. So you should be able to turn those left toes out and keep your hips nice and squared. But if you need to shift them again, that's perfectly fine. Take a moment to do so. It's always good. The poses should not necessarily just flow without movement. You always need to make adjustments for whatever your body needs. So let's inhale those arms out. Exhale. This time, bend the left knee. And again, let me back up a little bit. You should rotate that thigh out so you can see the big toe. Drop the shoulders. Exhale. Take a few breaths here. Weight is evenly distributed on both of those feet. You're not leaning forward. You're nice and tall. And breathe. Inhale, flip the palm up on that left hand. Exhale, bend the forearm, drop it to that left knee. Reach that right arm alongside your ear. Thumb is facing the sky or the ceiling. Drop that left hip. Extended side angle. Take a couple of breaths. If it's available, you can bring that arm down to the floor. You can bind. You have a binding practice. whatever version you need. Inhale back out to warrior two. Couple of breaths. Inhale up. Exhale, release. And turn those right toes. Bring those right toes just to the corner of your mat. And then turn, or the left toes. And then turn the right toes out too. So that you're facing that wide edge of your mat. Let's do a forward fold here. So bring your hands right in here in these hip creases. Not on your hips, but in these hip creases. Big inhale. Exhale, press the hips and thighs back. Forward fold. Hands to the mat. Let the head hang. You can bring your hands, the palms, in between the elbows. And swing and sway a little bit if that feels good. And now, I want you to bring your hands to the ankles. I want you to slowly walk yourself halfway up. And then bring the hands behind the back. And then I want you to roll the shoulders back. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, fold again. Now, you can keep those hands on the buttocks. You can lift them up as far as you like. Head up here. And breathe. Slowly bring those hands back down to the buttocks. Then bring the hands back down. Now walk your hands over to the right and turn those toes. You're going to put your hands in between that right leg and lunge. Step back to plank. Let's hold your plank here for a moment. For 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths. For 3, 2, and 1. Drop to your knees. Now, let's shift those hips. And I want you to be on the wide edge of your mat. We're going to do a seated wide leg forward fold. So I want your heels at the wide edge of your mat. I want you sitting nice and tall on your sacrum. Not slumped down, and you're not leaned back on the sacrum. You're sitting nice and tall on those sits bones. Now I do not want you to have those legs spread out as far as you can to where it's painful. I want you at awareness to where you can sit with the toes are reaching towards the sky, but you're not pulling those toes back towards you. They're active, but they are not flexed. So bring those hands to your mat. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, walk your way down. Keeping a nice straight spine here, y'all. If you feel yourself rolling over, rounding that spine, back away. Keep your spine nice and neutral. Take a big breath. Inhale. And then as you exhale, soften and relax. Relax the thighs. Relax the crease right here. You should be able to go a little deeper into your fold. Wherever you go, maybe you can go to your forearms. Maybe you can go further. Maybe you can get your head to the ground. Or maybe you're up here. It does not matter. Just breathe. And again, you should not be all the way to your edge. So if you're at your edge and it's really painful, I want you to back off just a little bit. Softening, relaxing every exhale. Inhale, back away. Exhale, release. Now, I want you to take your right hand, and you've got you need to keep the left hip on the ground. Inhale, left arm up, exhale, left arm over. Keep rotating that left shoulder up. Now don't let that right hip come up. You stay with that right hip on the floor. And if you need to bring that forearm back, or maybe up here, whatever, you can have it down here. And breathe. Inhale up and exhale, release. Now let's go to the other side. You can take that left forearm. You bring that left forearm to the thigh. You can bring it to the shin. You can bring it to your mat. You can grab the big toe with your fingers or your thumb, making sure that right hip does not come up. And when I go this far, that right hip comes up. So I can't go that far on this side. One side's going to be different. Can't even go down this far. So we'll start right here. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale, right arm over. Keep rotating that shoulder. Take a few breaths. Maybe I can go a little further as I soften and relax. Maybe I don't. And breathe. Inhale up and exhale, release. Now, bring those feet together nice and slow, y'all. Nice and slow. Soles of the feet together. If you'd like to, you can turn around back to the top of your mat. Strictly up to you. Grasping the ankles, or you can grab behind the toes. Take a big inhale, and then exhale, hinge forward. Again, bringing those elbows forward if that's available, or you can just press them on the calves. And breathe. With every exhale, soften in, relax. Sits bones. And again, you're not leaned back onto this section. One that you could actually bring your tailbone. So let's bring your hands on your thighs, sit nice and tall, walk those toes away from you. Take a big inhale. And then exhale. You can lift one toe to the other. Maybe they both come up and breathe. Or you can straighten the legs out, wherever you can. 3, 2, and 1, and release. Wrap those hands on the knees. You can drop the forehead down just a little. Now, bring those legs out in front of you. Arms out. Take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, keeping a nice straight spine, slowly lower yourself all the way down to let yourself relax. Now, I want you to bend the knees. Your feet are flat on the mat. And then I want you to lift those feet till the shins are parallel to the floor. Now, you're going to be tempted to bring those thighs towards you because that's what most of us do. But what I want you to do is to let those thighs go away from you a little bit till you've got a nice 90 degree. And you'll feel it because your abdominals will activate. And that's where I want those thighs to stay. And then I want you to flex those feet. Now place those hands on the tops of those thighs as if you're sitting into a chair. And when you do that, you'll feel those abdominals activate even more.
as you exhale, press those hands into the thighs really hard, like you're trying to press the thighs away from you, but don't. So do not let those thighs move. And breathe. And release. Drop those feet to the mat. And take a breath. Bring your hands down beside you. Palms on your mat. Walk your heels towards you. We're going to do bridge. So take a big inhale. As you exhale, shift the hips up to the ceiling. Roll onto the back of your shoulders. Now, pressing through the feet. If it's available to you, you can grasp your hands underneath your buttocks. You can bend your forearms and press through the triceps. Have your hands facing each other. And breathe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release and release. Now, getting those feet together, I want you to get the feet touching if that's available to you. It may be painful. If so, get your feet as close as you can without it being painful. Bring your arms out to the side in a T position with the palms up. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, keeping your feet on the floor, let the knees drop over to the right. Now the feet will turn, but you want the feet on the floor. You don't want the feet to be in the air at all. That way you get the full benefit of the spinal twist. Your gaze can be gently up at the ceiling or the sky, or gently looking over your left fingertips, whichever feels better to your neck. Slowly inhale back up to the center. As you exhale, let those hips reset. And bringing the feet back together again, or as close as you can. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, let the knees drop to the left this time. Again, gaze is up at the ceiling or the sky, or gently looking over the right fingertip. Inhale those knees back up. And as you exhale, reset those hips. Bring your hands back down to the side. Now, stretching those legs out. Nice and straight. I want you to inhale those arms up overhead. And stretch, 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 stretch. Big stretch. Exhale, release. And again, great big inhale, stretch, reach the fingers behind you, toes away from you, great big stretch. And release. And down. Moving into our final pose for the evening of Shavasana. Find your Shavasana tonight. Traditionally, Shavasana is practiced lying on your back with your feet about mat width apart, your arms out to the side with the palms up. But if this is not comfortable to you, please find your preferred Shavasana. Maybe you would like your knees bent, your feet on the floor with your knees touching for a little support if you have low back issues. Maybe you want some support under your legs. You can have a cushion under your knees. Maybe you want both hands on your belly, one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Or maybe if you've never practiced it before, maybe you want to practice Shavasana lying on your belly. It's always very interesting to lie on your belly and have your hands placed on top of each other with your forehead on the backs of your hands and doing Shavasana in that position if you've never done it. We'll give you just a moment to get yourself nice and comfortable in your Shavasana. And now, let's take a great big inhale through the nose. Exhale, side out. Another big inhale. Exhale, side out. Let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. You're no longer trying to control the breath. Just letting it come and go naturally. No tension, no tightness, no holding. Bring your attention to the forehead. Notice, are you wrinkling your forehead? Are you furrowing your eyebrows? Relax those eyebrows. Let the worry lines soften on the forehead. Notice that when you relax those eyebrows, it relaxes the cheekbones. Allows the eyes to sink a little deeper into the eye sockets. Now relax your jaw. Let it unhinge slightly. Maybe the lips gently part, maybe they don't. Releasing the tongue from the back of the throat and the roof of the mouth. Allowing the shoulders to sink deeper into the mat. Softening the chest. Squeezing the buttocks really tight, letting them relax. Softening the palms of the hands. And softening the soles of the feet. I'm going to move through all the major energy centers and joints in the body. And as I say the name of each of these areas, I want you to send it whatever it may need this evening. Maybe if you've got a spot, a joint, or an area that is hot and inflamed, maybe you'll imagine send it a nice, beautiful blue, cool breath. Or maybe if you've got an area that's creaky and poppy, maybe you want to send it a nice, warm, soothing breath. Imagine it's a nice yellow or orange color. Beginning at the top of the head, at the crown center, the center of the forehead, the knowledge center, the base of the throat, the vocal center, right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, right thumb, right first finger, right middle finger, right ring finger, right fifth finger, right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, left thumb, left first finger, left middle finger, left fourth finger, left fifth finger, left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, the base of the throat, the vocal center, the
center of your chest, the heart center. A couple of inches above the navel, the intuition center. A couple of inches below the navel, the pleasure center. The base of the spine, the root center. The right hip, right knee, right ankle, right big toe, left second toe, or right third toe, right fourth toe, right fifth toe, right ankle, right knee, right hip, the base of the spine, the root center, the left hip, left knee, left ankle, left big toe, left second toe, left third toe, left fourth toe, left fifth toe, left ankle, left knee, left hip, the base of the spine, the root center. A couple of inches below the navel, the pleasure center. A couple of inches above the navel, the intuition center. The center of your chest, the base of the throat, the vocal center. The center of the forehead, the knowledge center. And the top of the head, the crown center. Moving through each of these areas over and over again, sending each of these areas whatever it may need. With each exhale, you sink deeper and deeper into relaxation, softening, letting go of any worries, any struggles you may have had today, because this is your time. There's no place for anything other than you. Take a deep breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. You can roll your wrists and ankles. Bring a little movement into your body. Take another deep breath. Lift your arms up over your head. Give yourself a big stretch. Then bend your knees and roll over to your favorite side. Whichever one you need this evening, take a moment to check in with your body. It will tell you which side you need to roll over on. And stretching your top leg out for balance with your head heavy. Use both hands and press yourself up to a seated position. Taking just a moment to offer up some gratitude. Gratitude to yourself. Gratitude to someone else in your life. Gratitude from me to you for showing up this evening and letting me share this practice with you. Lokai Samastai Sukhino Bhavantu. May I have peace and happiness. May you have peace and happiness. May all beings have peace and happiness. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. The light in me honors and recognizes the light in you. Namaste. Thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of